I'd like to invite Senator-elect Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant and State Representative-elect Natalie Manley to come to the podium. I asked them to introduce themselves to you, but I think you all know them already, but they would like to greet the mayor and council.
Good morning. Thank you very much for allowing us to come in here and introduce ourselves. Many of you are very familiar with me, and Natalie will come up in a few seconds. But it's very important for me as your new legislator to know and help you understand that I am here for all my constituents. And no matter how big or how small you fall into my area, I really would like to work well with you. My goal is to go to Springfield and bring back to this community. I grew up in Joliet, so even though I'm not representing all of Joliet, this is my hometown, so it's very near and dear to me. I made a pledge when I ran for this office, and now that I'm in this office, to be committed to the 49th district, and I can assure you that is what's going to happen. I know there's a lot of ghost stories out there, there's a lot of people in scary games going on out there, but I come back to this community, I live in this community, and I look forward to representing this community. And to do that well, I need your input, I need your help. So feel free at any time to give me a call, to let me know what you need. We sat down with the mayor and Tom today, and they did a nice job of telling us your big issues. And I really look forward to working on those issues for this community. So thank you very much for allowing me to represent you.
Thank you.
I'm Natalie Manley. I'm not from here either. Oh, she is, but I'm not. But I feel like I am. Been working here in Joliet at Wormer, Rogers, Duran, and Ruzan for the better part of 15 years. And as a CPA, I know that we have some really daunting financial problems on the horizon. Very committed to working with the city of Joliet and all the other municipalities that are within the new 98th district is what I represent. So we sat down with Mr. Thanis and Mayor Girani, very committed to keeping Joliet at the forefront of our minds. It's important to me. I live here and feel like I've always lived here. I see a lot of friendly faces up there. And I think the most important thing is to keep communication open between the state and the local municipalities. We're in this together. I'm going to work very hard to make sure that that everybody's represented in all the issues that we are facing. We are both in the process of opening up district offices, and we'll keep you informed of that address going forward. Anytime, please give us a call. We've given our personal information to the mayor and Mr. Thanis. Call with any concerns, ideas. We're here for you. Thank you for everything. It's nice seeing all of you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I know Senator Bertino-Tarrant and Representative Manley would love to stay here and watch the rest of the city council meeting, but they're on a world tour right now of meetings, so if you see them leave now, it's because they have another, I think, a 4 o'clock appointment. So we thank them very much for coming. We look forward to working with both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
We will keep the introductions going, and I'd like to have Diane Harmon come forward with Kevin Meadows. Diane is the current executive director of the Joliet Public Library, and she'd like to make an introduction and also say a few words. Diane.
Thank you for letting me come before you tonight, because I'm here to say goodbye. I don't really want to, but you know what? It is time, and my husband is threatening dire consequences. I will have been at the Joliet Public Library for 25 years this coming May, and I have loved every single moment of it. You have a fabulous public library. Not that I'm biased, you understand, but it is a great, fabulous library that works very hard to serve the people of Joliet. One of the things that I really want to say is how much I have appreciated the efforts of the Joliet City staff to assist the library in a lot of the changes that are happening. I have been very grateful that I can pick up the phone at any time and call a variety of people to help. One example is that we are in the process of bringing one of our old elevators, our 1967 elevator, up to code. And the purchasing department, Meg McKeveley, was absolutely fabulous in giving her time to make sure that we did it right. And we appreciate all of that so much. Finance, budget, legal, Mr. Thanis have all been absolutely wonderful in assisting us to do it right. And I wanted to make sure that the council knows that and that we do really appreciate those efforts. We are a city library. We go where the city goes. And your march to Iowa seems to have halted a little bit, but where you go, we're right along with you. My last actual day at work is January 7th, and it's coming very, very fast. But the person who follows me is Kevin Meadows, and he is going to do an absolutely fabulous job for the city. He is our current deputy director, so he's been seasoned a little bit before he takes over. But I wanted to make sure to introduce him and say goodbye. I have absolutely loved it. Thank you. Kevin?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say I'm very much looking forward to working with you, members of the council, other city officials, city staff, to continue to build a good, what I think is already a pretty good relationship, and to serve our community as best we can as a library. And I'm biased as well. I do think it's a pretty great library.
You got some tough shoes to fill.
That's right.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we do have a lot of work that we do with the public library, and I think those of you who are very involved with it, you know we've got one of the most beautiful libraries in the state of Illinois, if not the country, with our downtown branch, or our downtown library. And when you see the Black Road facility, you drive by there at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and see the parking lot absolutely packed, it says that the city council made the right decision many years ago when they helped the library construct it. So thanks to the board of directors of the library. They all serve as volunteers. And Diane, we will miss you. We've had a lot of good times working together and getting the mission accomplished. And Kevin, the staff is here to work with you and keep the good thing going. So thanks to both of you. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'd like to invite Jim Kaderis from Canadian National Rail Company to come forward. Jim would like to give us an update and actually do a presentation, and I think he'd like to have Betty also come up, Betty Gavin. As you know, Jim and the Canadian National Rail Company has been working with the City of Joliet for the last 5 years on a transition we've gone through with the acquisition of the EJ&E by the CN. A lot of activities been taking place in the northeast side of Joliet, including a recent closure of the Woodruff Road crossing, working very closely on building a bypass road that'll be completed by, I think, September of 2013. And we just had a relocation of the Department of Corrections shooting range that will go from that corner at Collins and Woodruff over to the Stateville property off of 53. That'll probably be finished by the end of this year. So a lot of things have happened, and I think Jim wanted to come and greet the council and give the council some good news.
I very much appreciate the opportunity. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and everybody else who keeps this well-oiled machine humming along. As Mr. Thanis says, we have been working very closely with the city on a number of issues to a great deal of success. Appreciate all your time with us and working through the separate issues we've had and overcoming a lot of uncertainties that we're finally working our way through very successfully. We hope you share that with us also. As part of my duties with the integration of the EJ&E Railway into CN's network, which is what brings me here, I had the opportunity to be introduced to Betty Gavin of Forest Park Community Center. She invited me over for a brief tour of her facility, shared with me the program she's got going, the services they offer, and left me with kind of an inkling of a desire to help her further. With that in mind, I went back to CN corporate headquarters and made application for a grant in favor of Forest Park Community Center. And I'm here today very, very pleased to report that CN did grant a $100,000 donation payable over 3 years to Forest Park Community Center. So every once in a while I get the opportunity to do something nice and warm for the community, and today is one of those days, and with your indulgence I would like to make a presentation to the Forest Park Community Center with the first installment of $40,000 check towards $100,000, and give them an opportunity to share with you some of the great things that they're doing and some of the directions they want to go. Thank you very much for your indulgence for that, and I would love this opportunity to present you with the first installment check. If President, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. I hope this works very well for you, Patty. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure so far. I look forward to working with you in the future also. Take that in good health, please, and share a couple words with the Chamber Council. I think they appreciate that.
How's everyone doing? My name is Roy Smith, the board president of the Forest Park Community Center
Picked up.
and oldest son of the founder, Miss Louise Ray. I want to thank you guys, first of all, for having us down here. And I also would like to thank you very, very much, Jim, for helping us in partnership
My
with
pleasure,
the
sir.
Forest Park
My
Community
absolute
Center.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you again to Ms. Gavin.
Thank you. Again, to echo the sentiments and the gratitude of my board president, let me say, Jim, on behalf of the Forest Park Community Center, the staff, all of my board members, please stand up in my staff. We just want you to know, sir, that your investment within our community will improve the quality of life. It will make a safer, healthier, more educated, more skilled labor force, affordable housing. So we look forward to the partnership with Canadian National and to work with you very closely. So thank you again
My
for
pleasure.
that.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. Stannis, and your staff, we also want to thank you because you're constantly looking for businesses who have a mission and a vision to become great community partners. So on behalf of the Forest Park Community Center and our neighborhood council and all of our residents, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and receive this most generous donation. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Jeremy Gray from CenterPoint's been delayed at another meeting, so if it's okay, we'll skip over that item, and we may come back to it tonight or possibly tomorrow night or at another meeting for an update on CenterPoint's developments. If we can go back to the agenda, I don't believe we have anything else to be moved up. First item would be approval of the minutes from the December 3rd and December 4th meetings. Reports from the various council committees will be given tomorrow night. First agenda item to deal with is under the consent agenda, the council memo 546-12. That's for position vacancies. We're asking for authorization to fill 10 police officer positions that were approved in the 2013 budget at your last meeting. This is a follow-up to our discussion that we've had over the last several months about prioritizing our spending as far as staffing and making sure that we get 10 new officers in as soon as we possibly can.
Tom, do we have a rough starting date for those officers, Chief?
Mayor and Council, I'm very excited about this. We're going to get 10 new guys very soon. 2 of those guys will go up to the Forest Park Center, the plans. We're hoping to have them set to go by early January. Police and Fire Board approval at that point. The backgrounds are almost finished. So with your approval of this, we'll be ready to hit the ground running early next year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, can we do this today?
Yes.
Sure.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded that the city manager be authorized to hire 10 new police patrol officers. Councilwoman Barber?
Aye.
Councilman Fisher?
I'd like to say thank you to all the neighborhoods when we had our I had our city council meeting at the museum a couple months ago. It was obviously identified as a major priority within the neighborhoods of Joliet to take the action we're about to take, and And Chief, thank you, and Mr. Thanis, thank you very much, and I vote aye.
Councilman Girl?
Yeah, I too want to thank the chief and Mr. Thanis for as far as working together and getting these 10 new officers on the street. I think too, I don't want to forget to mention that I think, Tom, we've saved a substantial amount of money in hiring these officers as far as utilizing the lateral transfers, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that and kind of just let everybody know the amount of dollars that were not only saved and then also getting these officers on the street just that much quicker since they are already certified.
Yes, there's usually a considerable expense in training new officers, and usually the officers we've hired in the past have not come with police experience, or if they have, it's been limited. What we decided through the mayor and city council several months ago was to do what's called lateral transfers, or at least have a minimum requirement of having other police experience before someone's allowed to apply, which means they're already trained and certified and have had real-life experience in being police officers in other communities. And we were overwhelmed with the number of applicants that we had, and I believe we had over 300 applicants, and our list is about 200 people long right now. So there are plenty of well-qualified, well-trained applicants ready to get started. So they'll hit the street running, and we cut the expense considerably, and we get seasoned veterans who are ready to serve the community.
Very good. Thank you. I vote aye.
Councilman Hug?
These officers are extremely needed. So I'm excited. I'm glad we can help the police department to further protect the citizens. But just a reminder, this is the first step in the right direction. Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
I'm glad the chief doesn't have to wait one more day. This is going to be final today, and thank you for all that you've been doing with what you've had. But this couldn't come as a more perfect time in lieu of what's happened last week, and I know the parents are going to be very happy, and citizens as well, to see this in place. So 10 is not enough, but it's a start, and therefore I'll vote aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Mayor Girani?
I just want to compliment the staff for all the suggestions they've made over the last couple of years with the budget. And were it not for that, with the cooperation of the members of this council, this wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had the money to do this. And I vote aye.
Motion carried.
Next item is the Treasurer's Report for October of 2012 for your review tomorrow evening. Next, Council Memo 547-12. It's an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Joliet School District 86 involving a transfer of real property, and then approving an agreement with an agency known as One Hope United. You may remember that about a year ago you authorized us to enter into an agreement with the school district and with One Hope United to help facilitate the transfer of the former Parks Elementary School. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer than what was anticipated, but One Hope United received word recently that the state of Illinois has awarded a $3.1 million grant to One Hope United to create an early childhood facility in the old Park School. So it takes a school that we thought would be empty for many years or hard to redevelop, and it'll be used for a daycare facility for people who really don't have access to daycare services. So we're very excited about that. Because Illinois law creates some complications for a direct transfer from a school district to a private not-for-profit agency, the City of Joliet has offered to intervene. The property would be transferred to the City of Joliet for $278,500, and then at the same day we would turn around and convey title to the school directly to One Hope United, and then be reimbursed for the $278,500 plus any other expenses of the transaction. As we said last year, it was really a great reuse of the school. There are some renderings that were shown last year. They haven't changed since last year, and they're attached to the council memo. Very excited about the project. I don't believe we have anybody here from One Hope United today. They may be here tomorrow night, but we're recommending approval of both the ordinance and the resolution. Next item, 548-12. It's a request for the vacation of a 7-foot by 16-foot portion of a utility easement in the rear yard of 103 Barney Drive. Mr. Miguel Rodriguez has asked for the vacation. He has built had a 12-foot by 16-foot shed constructed in the utility easement. The staff has asked him to move it to a point outside the easement. He has declined that. He'd like to keep it there. Unfortunately, it's not good for our utilities. We have a sanitary sewer that's in the utility easement, and there's a couple of drawings that are coming your way right now, and you can see the shed is right on top of the easement. If there's a problem, we'll have access problems, and staff is recommending against the vacation of the utility easement. This went before the Plan Commission on November 15th for a public hearing. The Plan Commission voted 7-0 to recommend denying the vacation of the utility easement. Staff is doing the same. I don't know if Mr. Rodriguez is present today or not. He may be here tomorrow night to try to convince you that it's a good idea to have his shed in the utility easement, but at least give him a try.
Dennis?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Is it a sanitary sewer?
I think it's sanitary. And it's also drainage easement too, probably, but sanitary is probably what's back there.
I mean, there's really...
Yeah, if you look at your screen,
right,
you can see the utility line easement and then the hand-drawn structure that's right on top of it.
Right. I mean, there's really no way we can vacate an easement if we have, you know, very important utilities, especially a sanitary sewer underneath that or within that that easement area.
We're recommending against it. It's
Okay.
just, and I know he's gone to some expense having it constructed and would involve a little expense moving it, but it's just not a good policy to allow that type of a structure to be on top of a sanitary sewer line.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
Just to point out as well, he did this without obtaining a permit or any permission. He just built it. So unfortunately, it's really on him.
He incurred the risk of having to move it, so that's why our recommendation is what it is.
And the building itself is not up to code as well. Isn't that correct?
That's my understanding. I haven't looked, Jim, if you could help me out. Jim Haller, our Director of
I was
Community
reading your
Development.
notes, Jim. That's why I was
Yeah.
going back.
Very quickly, the problem we have with that structure is for it to meet code, it would have to be on a permanent slab, concrete slab. He never did that. So it makes moving the structure very easy at this point in time because it's not physically adhered to the ground very permanently. The problem with leaving it there is then it doesn't meet code. So we're in this catch-22 where we can't leave it, we've got the pipe underneath it, and if we were going to permit it, he's got to put it on a permanent slab, which makes it even more of an encroachment because then you would physically have to probably disassemble the shed if there were ever any sewer work underneath it. So that's why we steadfastly say stay out of the easement, especially when there's a utility under there.
But again, if he had come to the city for the permit, then he would have had
He would have been
known what
advised
the
of
code
all.
was. And
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Tom, you know, a while back we had a situation in one of the newer subdivisions where it wasn't even a sewer easement, it was just a natural drainage to the neighbor's storm drain. And I'll never forget this because I knew the gentleman. He put a nice fountain with goldfish in it, and he put it right in the easement, and he had to remove it, and there was no sanitary sewer underneath. It was just a natural drain that drained to the storm sewer, so.
Yeah,
Just
we
for your
try to be
information,
consistent
yeah.
on these. I know people do build all the way to their back lot line, put things in, but this one in particular has caused a major problem, so.
Mayor?
Nick?
How long ago did he build this?
Jim?
You think the summer before, maybe the summer before last?
He didn't get a permit, so they.
I know. Okay. I was just curious.
Next item, Council Memo 549-12, a variation of use to allow a 2-unit and a single-family residence to continue to exist in a single-family R2 zoning district at 1419-1421 East Washington Street. The applicants, owners are Jim and Denise Cosma from Wilmington. The lot is, and actually, Jim, if you can come back up and help me with this one too. There's a 2-unit that's in the front part of the structure, and then a single-family unit that's in the rear part behind the 2-unit. The 2-unit has a 4-bedroom upstairs and downstairs arrangement, and then there's a basement unit that's part of the main building. The second building is a small one-story, 528 square foot, one-bedroom dwelling unit that probably goes back to the early 1900s. The owners are asking for a variation to allow both structures to continue existing on one lot and the two-unit to continue in existence. This went before the ZBA. The ZBA has recommended approval on a 4-2 vote. The property is well maintained. There have not been neighborhood complaints or opposition to it. Staff is recommending its approval. Jim, is there anything else you want to add to this particular one?
Yeah, the thing that was unique about this is the former owner illegally converted that basement unit. When the current owners brought it to our attention, or it was brought to our attention, they had done a total rehab of it and invested quite a large sum of money fixing up the basement unit. From what I understand from staff, it's in really, really good shape, and they appear to be very good landlords. The other probably interesting thing about this lot is, if you know, it's to the west of the Culberson School, so it's got a very, very deep lot. And the lot actually rolls off, and there's a steep hillside down to what used to be the old railroad right away. Now it's the hiking biking trail. So they really only have neighbors on the two sides of them, and there seems to be quite a bit of elbow room. And that was the reason why this one deserved some special consideration, because it wasn't a problem. Although we usually take a very dim view on those illegally converted basement units. In this particular case, it was a real tough call, but because of the size of the property and the proximity to neighbors, the buffering or the extra elbow room, it didn't seem to be as impacted as maybe some of the other locations where you might have a 40-foot wide lot with neighbors right up on top of one another. So I think that was one of the reasons why the zoning board voted the way they did on this variation of use.
Fair.
Yes.
Jim, have you received any complaints from the adjacent landowners or adjacent neighbors at all?
Not at all, and as a matter of fact, I think the property to the west was at one point in time part of this, and they ended up having to split part of it off. So they were under sort of the same circumstances. I think there's a 2-unit on that property next door, and but no, we haven't had any complaints.
Thank you.
So, Jim? So there'll be 4 units to be lived in, 3 in one building and 1 standalone?
No, 1 in the basement of the front unit, and then the 4,000 square foot single family is the first and second floor. So basement in the basement unit, and then the main house has the one above, and then a single family in the back. So
Okay, so there's not a 2-flat on top of it?
No, no.
And we have enough parking?
More than enough. Very big lot.
This will be on your agenda for tomorrow evening. 550-12 is an ordinance asking for authorization to declare public nuisances at 516 South Joliet Street and 118 East Washington Street. Pictures of both structures are attached to the council memo. Next item, 551-12, is an ordinance for levying an assessment of taxes, real estate taxes, for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2012, ending December 31st, 2012. This basically mirrors what was approved in the 2013 budget. These are taxes that for 2012 that will be collected in 2013 by June 1st and September 1st. The amounts are equal to what was approved in the budget. Staff is recommending approval of the tax levy ordinance. Next item is an ordinance for the levy of real estate taxes for 3 special service areas. One is the 1994 special service area for Joliet Commons Shopping Center. That's the Target Shopping Center directly across from the Lewis Joliet Mall. The second SSA, or special service area, is for the 1996 SSA for the Joliet City Center. That raises revenue for the economic development and promotion of downtown Joliet. And the third special service area is for the Park Hill subdivision, relatively small amount designed to help with a detention pond that was not accounted for when the original plat was approved. Staff is recommending approval of all 3 ordinances.
I think this is
And we have a public hearing scheduled, that's right. Jeff Plyman, the Corporation Counsel, has reminded me that we are having a public hearing, so it would be appropriate to open the public hearing on the special service area for the downtown special service area, the 1996 special service area. The reason for that is actually increasing more than 5% or CPI due to And we've talked about this before, but Harrah's Casino had a 10-year tax abatement under the old enterprise zone rules for the construction of the hotel tower and the new pavilion a little over 10 years ago. That 10-year abatement is now expiring, and those two properties are now subject to the SSA tax, so it's generating a substantial increase to the point where we'll have about it'll go to about $440,000 that'll be collected from all downtown property owners, and that'll be used for economic development purposes. So if we could have the public hearing opened and see if anybody would like to comment.
You need a motion, Tom, to open?
No, I think the
No,
mayor
I
can just
do that.
open
I
the
can do
public
that,
hearing.
yeah.
Mhm.
Any comments on this? Just open the public hearing. None? Second time, any comments? Third time final, any comments? None.
Mr. Mayor, we'll close the public hearing. This will be on the agenda for tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Next item, 556-12, is the annual approval of the agreement with PACE for a paratransit local share agreement. This assists the funding for paratransit services for persons with disabilities and persons who are over 60 years of age and who do not drive. This is actually door-to-door service that is sponsored by PACE. The City of Joliet and the various townships that comprise Joliet participate in a funding agreement with PACE. The city pays 60% and the townships pay 40%. Some of the cost that the city incurs is eligible for reimbursement through the Illinois Department of Human Services. The city's total share is about $133,000. We have funding in the 2013 budget for the allocation. It's the same agreement that we've approved for many years. Staff is recommending approval. And the last page of the agenda item shows the total dollar amount and the allocations among the various townships and city. Next item is our annual approval. This is Council Memo 557-12, annual approval of the Tri-County Auto Theft Unit Agreement. This is an agreement that goes back to 1991. This is our 22nd year of approving this. There's a grant that's provided to the city along with several other police agencies, including the State Police, Will County Sheriff's Department, and Grundy County Sheriff's Department, Kankakee, and then several individual police departments that participate. The city receives part of the grant to cover 2 officers who are assigned to the Tri-County Auto Theft Unit. Staff has reviewed it, and we're recommending approval of the agreement. Next item, Council Memo number 558-12. It's regular payroll for December 7th. Next item is the Treasurer's disbursements for November of 2012 for your review and consideration. And next item, regular claims for November of 2012. I believe the remaining items are going to be reviewed either by the CTIS committee or I think you did, at a 2:30 meeting this afternoon, or reviewed by the Public Service Committee. That'll be meeting, I'm not sure where you're meeting tomorrow.
Meeting, I think, in the planning room.
The planning conference room at 7:15 tomorrow morning to review award of contracts and change orders for particular items that are on the agenda. Unless you have questions, we have citizens to be heard. The first person who signed up is Alicia Morales regarding the detention center. I believe I just saw Ms. Morales come in.
Pardon me?
Mr. Webb has signed up to address constitutional issues.
Just for the record, we do have a 3-minute maximum, and since we have about 8 people signed up, we're going to adhere to that. Robert?
On behalf of the independent political thinkers of the Joliet-Will County area community, I extend to this council our greetings of peace and friendship. Before I go on to my issue, I was kind of like disappointed when I walked into the chambers and I saw the sacred documents of the American Revolution taken down from the wall. I've always looked at that as something being the spirit of democracy, those particular words and those particular documents that was designed by the framers of this country that we live in. And to me, it's counterproductive to have removed those particular sacred documents from the walls, which should serve as a reminder of why we're here. and what we're supposed to be doing in terms of running, this democracy that we're supposed to be living in. So I would suggest that whoever came up with that decision to remove those documents, that you rescind that decision and have those documents placed back on those walls as a reminder of the spirit of democracy.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if I could just jump in. We did not remove them with the intention of permanently keeping them down. Obviously, we had to rearrange the room, and we are working on putting them in a very prominent place, so it'll be a reminder. So you'll see that in the next few weeks. We just haven't had a chance to finish that part of the project.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Also, as I was sitting here, I had a flashback to 15 years ago, 13 days ago, this day, concerning the Forest Park Community Center. Unfortunately, the individuals left before I could have something to say about how that organization all came about, and actually who's the founder of the idea for that organization, which is the person that you're looking at, Robert Webb. Joe Satina hadn't been on the city council at that time, and I asked him to be on the board of directors. Former city manager John Mesereth had suggested that we look to get more community involvement before bringing this proposal to the city council. Warren Doris came to one of our meetings that we had at the Joliet Public Library in Conference Room A and had informed me that the idea that we had brought up was the City Civic Youth League program had been hijacked by a number of members in our community, and they were going to be present this to the council. So just for you all that don't know the origin of the Forest Park Community Center, even though Thanis, Mesereth, and Frazier were the incorporators of the original Forest Park Youth Bill, that idea came from a proposal that I presented to the city council back in 1993. So you all know the history of that. My issue that I wanted to discuss was recommendations to prevent constitutional abuse. Now, I was kind of upset when I heard that you all decided to vote to hire 10 new police officers, and I said that because I don't know if any of you all know, but there's a number of civil rights violation lawsuits pending against City of Joliet police officers in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois at 219 South Dearborn. One of the most notorious
You got 30
lawsuits
seconds, Bob.
that's pending right now deals with a conspiracy to do a drug bust that caused an individual that had nothing to do with the situation being arrested, prosecuted, and eventually, had the charges dropped, who has well over a $5 million lawsuit pending against the city of Joliet as we speak. And no, I didn't have anything to do with writing the document up, as some people might be led to think and believe. It was a group in Chicago. So when you look at how are they going to having more police
Thanks,
going to
Bob.
improve public safety,
Your 3 minutes are
what
up,
are we
Robert.
going to do about these
Bob, your 3
police
minutes
that's
are up.
violating constitutional rights of the citizens?
Somebody get Joe.
I suggest that we send them to school to teach them constitutional law so they'll know what the Constitution is about.
Have a
so they'll
seat.
prevent
Have a
themselves
seat,
from
Bob.
violating people's rights. Think about that.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, next speaker to sign up, Cynthia Hood, regarding Housing Authority.
Hi, my name is Sunithia Hood. I
Speak
reside-
into the microphone, please, Cynthia. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sunithia Hood. I reside in the Joliet Housing Authority, 333 South Plain Street. I have an issue with the property manager, Sue Ross, how she talks to the tenants and how she's go on he say, she say, and serve people's eviction notice and they haven't done nothing. And then she punished them after they case got dismissed.
Doesn't that go to the Housing Authority Board? Doesn't she have to answer to the board? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. We have had some problems. We're in the process of, let's say, just doing some things up there that should correct whatever improprieties there are going on up there. That's all I can tell you at this time. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Members of the council, next person who signed up, Gregory Adams.
Hello, Council. Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Well, my problem is, it's like a public concern about housing authority. The same person that she spoke about. This matter is more serious than ever because I'm asking that she be properly investigated for the wrong and mistreatment of the tenants and the tenants' guests that's there. I'm talking about from harassment, malicious conviction, or whatever terms. I showed her a tape of an incident that was going on, a brawl or whatever you want to call it. And the same tape that she seen, she still tried to get other people evicted about the tape that it had nothing to do with the tape. Not only that, the retaliation was brought upon me. And I was arrested. But I have video tape conversation with the lady saying that when she find out my name, I will be arrested and on the bar list. I mean, I feel that was a miscarriage of justice. I mean, I don't know too much about her, but she was in the paper for a domestic. And I asked myself, how can an individual of that nature be in the paper for a domestic and have the power to have the families on the street? Either you do what she say do, or you'll be the victim. That's her threats, intimidation, however you want to call it. I feel it's unbecoming because it's things and situations, because the environment that we speak upon, that y'all announce for the police to be, it would be a safe environment if someone tell us something about someone next door, she would go back and tell them, and they have two individuals together having fight against each other. But I'm saying she using one against the other. I don't know what her reasons for it. Not trying to send any which way, the burden of the truth don't change. Even from the CD, from the tape that I have on her, what she's saying. I'm wondering what could housing do about this. Now, I have a past, and I'm not proud of it. But we speaking to you here, Faith, eye to every one of y'all. I have no problem with nothing that I did there, because I did what I had to do, and I served what I had to serve because of that. I'm speaking to you from this day forth. I don't feel that was wrong. All citizens, privileges, and due process to equal protection for all of us, right?
Right. Has this been brought to the attention of the Housing Authority Board?
I brought it to they came and I told them, and they kind of brushed me off. And from who I am, you're gonna brush me off anyway. But the truth be told, I don't think that's right for nobody to undergo that, because you have a situation on hand, because you have this small circle with each other fruiting and fight. Your environment would become dangerous, and the kids would get killed, and everything else would happen because of that. There's more burglaries going on and more killing going on now in Joliet than there ever was.
Thanks, Greg. Your 3 minutes are up. Sue, you wanted to say something? Susan?
Yes, I wanted to ask you a question. When you brought all this to your attention, did you go down to the Housing Authority and
Yes, when
report
I went
it?
down to the Housing Authority, she basically snapped on me.
Who did you talk to down there, sir?
I talked to that guy there.
At the Housing, Michael Simonton? Okay, because I didn't have any knowledge of it. That's the reason why I asked, who did you talk to? Michael, you want to come up and explain what went on? Come on.
Good afternoon.
Why don't you set that right on? There you go.
I'm a tall guy.
Name and address, please, Michael.
Well, my name is Michael Simonton. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the interim director of the Housing Authority of Joliet. Most recently, I've been charged with the responsibility of overseeing the operations of the Housing Authority. My initial job, as some of you may know or may not know, or my main job, was the development of Liberty Meadows Phase 1 and Phase 2. And I was able, my team was able to complete some capital improvements of some of our high-rise buildings, window replacement, boilers, generators, those kinds of things over the years that I've been there. I've been employed with the Housing Authority since 1989, for those of you who don't know. Speaking directly in regards to Mrs. Hood, and there's another young lady by the name of Ellington, and I think your name is Gregory Adams. They did. They came into the office. They met with me. I I was unable to give them resolution because the asset manager for the Housing Authority was out on medical leave. He has now returned, and we've been trying to get a hold of them to schedule a meeting to give them their due process through the grievance policy that the Housing Authority and board has approved. So I am somewhat familiar. There is some detail of the incidents that's occurred at the Des Plaines Garden that I'm not privy to, and that's why we were waiting for the return of the asset manager so we can get to the bottom of it. This group has not only contacted the mayor's office, but there has been Senator Durbin that has contacted me. There has been the HUD office that's contacted me, as well as Terry Morris, Councilman Terry Morris, and one other commissioner. So we are really trying to resolve whatever it is that is of concern to the residents that we serve.
Do you have any idea when this is, you'll be ready to have this hearing, or?
This week, if we can get it done. He's back to work now, so
Very good.
there would be an opportunity for the city, not the city, I mean the property manager as well as the asset managers to be a part of that discussion so that we can bring this to a resolution.
Please get me the results of the meeting, and I will make sure that the council gets copies of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we had 3 other people that wanted to address the same topic. I'm not sure if they were satisfied by the explanation from Mr. Simelton. Angela Ellington, Jasmine Smith, and Lucinda Crawford. I don't know if any of them would like, if they're here, if they'd like to address it. Not here. Okay. Then we've taken care of that. Now I think, Ms. Morales, are you ready?
Thank you. My name is Alicia Morales. I live at 645 Francis Street. I'm here once again to discuss what's been kind of alluded to in the past, what you're looking at, the CCA coming to build a prison here in Joliet. First of all, I want to thank Councilman Morris, Councilman Hugg, Councilman Odekirk, and also Mr. Thanos for attending a town hall. The community requested everyone's presence at a town hall for an issue that you will at some point take a vote on. And when your community requests and organizes, it's kind of disappointing that many of you don't make it a priority to go and listen to the concerns of people that you think that are possibly ill-informed or uneducated, and that is not the case. I'm here today with a very heavy heart because today start the funerals for those children that were killed in Newton. This was a result of a social problem. What these gentlemen just spoke of prior to myself, sounds like a social problem we're facing, and we wonder why these things happen. What caused someone to snap and go kill on a killing rampage? These are the hardened criminals that do need to be in these prisons, not immigrants. People that come here the way the Italians came here for a better life. The new wave, a tsunami of immigrants that we're facing right now are the Mexican immigrants that are here to work, to feed their families on humble incomes, to pay the high water bills that are imposed upon us. And I pray that we can all have a conscience about the votes that you will be taking at some point and how this is going to impact the community that we all have to live in. Many of us are not privy to living in the housing authority. Many of us would rather work and pay a humble rent, but in a safer area. We cannot inject the profit motive into the criminal justice system. That is something that the government has to continue to work on, and we all know how government offices are run. They're not the most efficient or effective. But when you inject the motive, the profit motive, then it's no longer about keeping Americans safe from crime. It's no longer about giving Americans that do mess up a second chance and saving them from undue punishment. Now it's strictly about making a profit, and that's why the CCA has lobbied, because they can, because they have the money and the resources. Many of us out here don't have what they have. But they lobby for stricter drug laws and stricter anti-immigration laws. These laws don't make us safer. These laws didn't keep the kids from getting killed last Friday. The laws, the handguns and all these other laws. It's values and it's morals that we need to have. But these laws do lead to more people being thrown in jail. And therefore, the profits are making profits for companies like the CCA. This is what we call predatory capitalism. Part of the CCA's deal is that the state has to keep, again, 90% of this prison full for 20 years. I'm going to ask you all, you were all elected to this office. You wanted to serve the community. You're here because you say you want to listen to us. Well, now you have to listen to what we have to say. You won't come to our meetings. We're going to come and speak with you. I'm not afraid of being put in the media. I know I'm labeled as a troublemaker. That's okay, because I stand up for what I believe in. If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for everything. You can call me a troublemaker, no problem. As long as I know I have 30 seconds. Thank you, Mr. Durante. That's fine. And I'm not here for myself. I'm here for the community that is too afraid to speak on their own behalf. I'd like to end this just with a small prayer. I know it's a government office, but I have freedom of speech. Lord, please make us an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, but to understand, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born into eternal life. Thank you very much for your time. And when we have another town hall meeting, we will certainly invite everybody, and hopefully you all will make the time to come out and join us. Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes.
I would just like to suggest to Ms. Morales that if she's going to call a town hall meeting, she should check with City Hall to check our schedules, because we all had other issues to do that evening.
3, to be exact.
I know. So just because it was a 30-day notice, I understand that, but there are jobs involved, and there were other events going on that evening as well. So don't take because we weren't all there that we didn't care, because I did get a report on it, just for your information.
And also, Your Honor,
Yes.
as Councilman Quillman says, that's absolutely correct. And, you know, I don't think any of us have ever shunned a meeting that we wanted to get to or without having other commitments. But I think it's going to take dialogue on both sides. And it's going to sit down, you know, calmly and rationally. And I know the city manager wanted to make some comments that night. He wasn't allowed to. But in the future, if he could make some comments, ultimately the decision is going to be up here with the 9 of us. And we will make the decision. But the city manager is doing the legwork back and forth, what the pros and cons. And if he could be allowed to give his presentation, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I also would like to echo what, we did have some conflicts, and I did email you about that. Also, as you know, I've met with many of the leaders within the Joliet Hispanic community to speak about this issue, and I also spoke to you about that I will meet anytime. So it's a little bit disheartening to hear sometimes accusations that we don't care, we don't listen, and I just want to read that into the record.
Anyone else?
That's it.
That's it.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'll reserve my comments on the other night for some other time. It's an unusual town hall meeting. I guess I'm not reserving my comments. It's an unusual town hall meeting when you don't want to hear the entire story, and when you're told, when you sit through 2 hours of what was a misinformation campaign and not be allowed to speak, it was very frustrating. So it's clear that the dialogue that the opponents would like to have is a one-way street, and I thought it was it just perpetuated the untrue portrayal of ICE's initiative, and it really preyed upon the fears of immigrants, and I thought it was very offensive. I do have a lot more to say on it, but I think I'll reserve my comments for another time. It's just very frustrating to hear what's being said without wanting to hear the other side of the story. Very frustrating.
Tom, do we need a closed session?
We do.
Yes. Is there a motion for?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition, or conveyance pending or threatened litigation, after which meeting will be adjourned. Councilman Fisher?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillen?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Barber?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if we can go down to the old council lounge rather than this room for this particular meeting. We're still working on this particular room.